Have you ever felt comfortable, not happy, not fulfilled, not alive with purpose? Just comfortable. Maybe you have a steady job that pays the bills, a small apartment with everything you need, weekends where you sleep in, order food, watch shows, and tell yourself you deserve this rest. And maybe, somewhere underneath all that comfort, there is a voice you keep turning down, a voice that whispers, "This isn't the life you meant to live." You silence it. You tell yourself you'll start next month, when things settle, when the timing is right. But the months pass and nothing settles, and the timing is never right. This is the story of a man who had enough and was quietly losing everything that mattered, until one conversation changed the way he saw the cage he had built around himself. Stay with me until the end, because what he discovered might be the truth you've been avoiding. In a mid-sized city, where the days blurred into each other, there lived a 29-year-old man named Adrian. To anyone looking from the outside, Adrian's life was perfectly fine. He worked in the customer support department of a technology company. Not exciting work, but stable. His salary covered his rent, his groceries, his streaming subscriptions, and a modest amount of savings. He was never hungry, never cold, never in real danger. He had friends he texted occasionally, a gym membership he rarely used, a bookshelf of books he had not finished, a notebook full of ideas he had never started. Adrian had once wanted to build something of his own, a small business, a creative project, something he could point to and say, "I made that." Back in university, he had been full of plans. People called him the ambitious one. But that was 5 years ago. Now, Adrian's evenings followed an unbroken pattern. He came home at 6:30. He heated up takeout or something simple. He sat on the couch and opened his phone, news, social media, a video or two that turned into 10. By midnight, he was tired without having done anything. He set an alarm for 7, told himself tomorrow would be different, and went to sleep. Tomorrow was always the same. He wasn't miserable. That was the dangerous part. If he had been truly miserable, he might have changed. But comfort had wrapped itself around him so gradually, so gently, that he didn't feel the walls closing in. His colleague Sarah would sometimes ask, "Adrian, what happened to that idea you had, the design freelance thing?" He would wave it off, still thinking it through. Not the right time yet. She would nod, and he would change the subject. But alone, late at night, the question he never said aloud pressed against his chest like a stone. Is this it? He was 29. In a year, he would be 30. The years were not stopping, but his life felt paused, suspended in a loop of comfort and avoidance, warm enough to stay in, cold enough to keep him awake. He didn't know what was wrong exactly. He had everything he was supposed to want. So, why did he feel like he was slowly disappearing? One Saturday in late autumn, Adrian's old university friend, Ray, came to visit. They had started from exactly the same place, the same degree, the same cramped student housing, the same empty wallets in their early 20s. Ray had not been the brightest student. He had struggled with exams. Adrian had always been sharper on paper. But Ray walked into Adrian's apartment that evening, carrying himself differently than Adrian remembered. Calmer, more grounded. There was a quiet energy about him. Not arrogance. Something more unsettling than that. Purpose. Over dinner, Ray talked, not boastfully, simply. He had spent 2 years building a small graphic design business on the side while working a regular job. He had taken on small clients, made mistakes, learned, grown. The business was not large, but it was real. It was his. He had also lost 12 kilograms, was sleeping better, had started waking at 5:30 every morning. Adrian listened, and with every sentence, something in his chest grew heavier. After Ray left that night, Adrian sat in his apartment alone. The TV was off. The phone was face down. The room was quiet in a way it rarely was. He looked around. The takeout boxes, the half-read books, the notebook sitting on the shelf untouched since March, and something inside him cracked. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a slow, awful clarity. Ray and I had the same start, the same tools. 5 years have passed. He built something. I got comfortable. He picked up the notebook, opened to the first page. There, in his own handwriting from years ago, was a list of things he had wanted to do. He had done none of them. That night, Adrian could not sleep. He lay in the dark, turning over a single question. What had he actually done with the last 5 years? What had he built? What had he become? The honest answer was unbearable. By 3 a.m, he made a quiet decision. Not dramatic, not passionate, just tired and serious. I cannot keep living like this. The next morning, restless and still awake, Adrian stepped outside for the first time in weeks before sunrise. He walked aimlessly through the empty street and stopped when he saw his neighbor, Mr. Park, a retired man in his mid-60s, sitting on his front steps in the gray pre-dawn, writing in a small notebook, a cup of tea at his side. Adrian had always thought Mr. Park was simply an early riser by habit, but something about the stillness, the intentionality of the man at this hour, made him pause. "You're up early," Adrian said. Mr. Park looked up without surprise. "I am always up at this hour." He studied Adrian's face. "You look like someone who didn't sleep." "I've been thinking too much." The old man nodded slowly. "That usually means you've been doing too little." He gestured to the step beside him. "Sit down." Adrian sat down. Mr. Park did not immediately offer wisdom. He simply let the silence sit between them for a moment, the kind of silence that requires nothing from you. Then he asked, what do you want, Adrian?" Not in a challenging way, in the way of someone genuinely curious. Adrian found it surprisingly difficult to answer. "I want to build something. Feel like my days are going somewhere. Stop feeling like I'm stuck." Mr. Park was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Tell me, what does your evening look like most days?" Adrian described it honestly. The couch, the phone, the midnight alarm. He felt small saying it out loud, and Mr. Park listened without judgment. When Adrian finished, the old man reached into his jacket pocket and held up a small wooden spool, the kind used for flying kites. He turned it in his hands. "My grandson was here last week," he said. "We flew a kite, He wanted to let all the string out, as far as it would go. He thought the string was what was holding the kite back. He looked at Adrian, but when he let the string go completely, the kite didn't fly higher. It tumbled. It spun. It fell. He set the spool down between them. The string is what lets the kite rise. The tension, the resistance, the structure, that is not the enemy of the kite. That is what the kite needs to stay in the air. He paused. Discipline is the string. Comfort is what happens when you think freedom means letting go. Adrian looked at the spool. Mr. Park continued quietly. You have been waiting to feel free before you act with discipline. But it works the other way. You act with discipline first. The freedom comes after, not before. Here's what I see, Mr. Park said. You are not lazy. Lazy people do not lie awake at night aching. You are comfortable, and comfort is more dangerous than struggle, because struggle makes you fight. Comfort makes you wait. He picked up his small notebook. I have kept this routine for over 30 years. I wake at 5:30. I write for 45 minutes. My thoughts, my plans, what I am grateful for. I exercise for 30 minutes. I read for 30. By the time most people wake up, I have already done 4 things that matter. He looked at Adrian steadily. Not because I have extraordinary willpower, because I decided, a long time ago, that the first hours of the day belong to me, and I protect them like they're the most valuable thing I own. Because they are, I will not give you a long program, Mr. Park said. I will not give you a long program, Mr. Park said. I will give you one thing. For 60 days, every morning without negotiation, before the phone, before the news, before anything that takes from you, you give the first hour of the day to the one thing you actually want to build. Just 1 hour, every day. No skipping because you're tired. No postponing because it's the weekend. The discipline is not the hour. The discipline is the not negotiating. He stood up slowly and picked up his tea. After 60 days, come back and tell me what happened. He walked back inside. Adrian sat alone in the early morning light, the wooden spool still on the step beside him, and felt something he had not felt in a long time. Not excitement, something quieter and more solid. Readiness. The next morning, Adrian's alarm went off at 5:30. His mind immediately offered reasons not to get up. He was tired. It was cold. He could start tomorrow and it would be the same. He remembered the spool. He got up. The first week was not glorious. There was no sudden clarity, no burst of energy. Adrian sat at his desk in the gray early morning and worked on his freelance design portfolio. Slowly, clumsily, with no confidence that it would lead anywhere, but he worked. He kept his phone in the other room until 8. He did not check messages, did not scroll, did not give away the first hour to anything that asked for it. It felt awkward, slightly uncomfortable, like a muscle being used for the first time. He expected to fail by day 4. He did not fail by day 4. Around the 3rd week, something quiet changed. Adrian noticed that the hour no longer felt forced. His mind, which had previously taken 20 minutes to settle into focus, began to sharpen faster. The work improved. Small things, a better portfolio piece, a cleaner layout, a first cold email sent to a potential client, began to accumulate. He also noticed something about the rest of his day. When he had protected the morning, He carried a different energy through the afternoon. Not dramatic, just steadier. He stopped watching the clock at work, waiting for the day to end. He started having mild opinions about things again. He felt like someone with a direction. On day 31, a difficult week at the office left him exhausted by Friday evening. His old pattern whispered loudly, "You've earned a break. One weekend off, you can restart Monday." He sat with the thought for a moment. Then he went to bed at 10. Set the alarm, got up Saturday at 5:30. The hour felt hard. The work was mediocre. But he showed up. That was the day Adrian understood what Mr. Park had meant. The discipline was not the hour. The discipline was the not negotiating. On day 53, a small design studio replied to one of Adrian's emails. They were looking for a part-time freelance designer for a 3-month contract. The rate was modest, but it was real. A client, his first. Adrian sat at his desk in the early morning light and read the email 3 times. He had not won a lottery. He had not discovered a secret. He had simply done one focused hour, 63 mornings in a row, and the small work had become something large enough for someone else to notice. On the morning of day 60, Adrian walked outside before sunrise and found Mr. Park in his usual place on the steps, tea in hand, notebook open. The old man looked up. He did not ask. He simply waited. Adrian said, "I got a client." Mr. Park smiled, small and genuine. "And more than that?" Adrian thought for a moment. "I feel like I'm living in my own life again, not watching it from the couch." Mr. Park nodded slowly. "That is the real thing. The client is a consequence. The life is the point." He handed Adrian a fresh cup of tea from a small thermos beside him. They sat together in the quiet of the early morning, and for the first time in years, Adrian felt no restlessness, no hollow comfort, no ache. Just presence. Just a man who had found his string. My friend, Adrian's story is not about design or freelancing or even waking up early. It is about understanding one of the most important and misunderstood truths of adult life. Comfort is not the same as peace. And discipline is not the same as restriction. We are taught to chase ease, to optimize for the path of least resistance. And so slowly, without realizing it, we build soft prisons, warm enough that we never want to leave, small enough that we stop growing. The kite without the string does not fly higher. It falls. And the person without structure, without the daily, non-negotiable commitment to something that matters, does not become freer. They drift. They ache. They wait for a life that does not come to them on its own. So here is what I want to offer you. Not a complicated system, but 3 clear things. First, identify the one thing you keep saying you will start, not 5 things. 1, the project, the skill, the discipline, the thing that, if you built it, you would feel proud of in a year. Second, protect 1 hour every morning for that one thing, before anything else takes your attention, before the phone, before the news, before the world's requests arrive. 1 hour yours. Third, remove the negotiation. Not "I'll do it if I feel ready." Not "I'll start" when things settle. The discipline begins when you stop waiting for the right conditions and simply begin in the conditions you have. Comfort will always feel easier than change. That is its nature. The couch is warm. The familiar is safe. But you did not come here, to this life, to this moment, to simply be comfortable. You came to build something, to become someone, to look back years from now and know that the time you were given was not wasted on waiting. The cage is only a cage if you stay. The string is only a string until you realize it is what lets you fly. If this story reached something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the right words at the right moment change a life. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Until next time, stop waiting for comfort to end and let discipline begin.